My name is Jamie Allen Stapp, and my topic is on childhood obesity. Public health problem, obesity in children. Why does obesity in children exist in today's society? So around 12.7 million children and adolescent youth are actually affected by this, which averages around to 17% of the adolescent population. So why is this so prevalent? This is actually because parents living with unhealthy lifestyles will actually teach their children their own unhealthy behaviors. This is also contributed to the problem with food being unhealthy and the fact that the unhealthy food is typically cheaper than healthy foods. So how does this actually happen? Now, a lot of this is actually due to genetics. Now, there are these things called cord blood metabolics, which are actually linked to early childhood obesity risks and postnatal weight gains. Now, there's a great risk factor for obesity later in life, in adolescent life, as well as for a metabolic disorder. And this actually has a high correlation of postnatal weight gain as well. Another factor for obesity in children is the fact that the youth are not exercising a recommended amount from their physicians, and they're choosing to be inactive and using social media instead, or going home and watching TV instead of going outside and playing. So as you see in the right, there's actually been a steady increase from the decades of childhood obesity. Now, where is childhood obesity likely to be seen? We can actually see childhood obesity more centered in low socioeconomic communities, but not necessarily in one race more than another, as seen in the image to the right. Now, there are a few future risks in communities, such as communal discrimination, less activity throughout the community, as well as declining health due to influence behavior. And as a whole, there's also lack of engagement, social interactions that have decreased, and decreased self-confidence and morale throughout the population as well. Now, the etiological factors are not specified from race, more so they're geared towards socioeconomic status, and anxiety and depression can also play a factor, mainly because when you have these sort of mental health disorders, some individuals typically tend to heighten their caloric intakes, not necessarily burn enough calories, and they retain those, gaining more weight. So the main question is, how can we solve childhood obesity? Now, one of the things that we can actually put in place, some of the measures, is to actually help educate individuals on this prevalent issue. One of the ways we can do this is actually helping people become more aware of the healthier alternatives that can be just as cheap, or offer recommended playing times, as well as raising awareness about childhood obesity. Another way is to help children get more physically fit. And one of the ways we can do this is actually by reshaping our physical fitness guidelines. Since only 43% of our children in the United States meet these guidelines, we need to reconstruct our physical education system to help more children meet these guidelines. Now, physical fitness is a very large part of school systems. Since a lot of children don't get this at home, we need to make sure we implement a good foundation here in school systems to make sure that they have a steady ground, to make sure that they have something to go off of, since a lot of children don't get this from their home lives. Now, at least in other countries such as South India, there have been trials going on with children who get at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise a day with moderate diet control, and it's been seen to lower their obesity rates in their country, as well as in Dutch governments. They've been seen in the Netherlands to have revised physical fitness guidelines, and they've integrated public health policies. Now, in the image to the right, you can see this is a behavioral change ball, and they utilize an innovative form of teamwork that promotes students to explore their own likes and dislikes through comfortable means, exercising their own passions for fitness. Public health in the future for obesity in children is actually seen to be at a steady increase, and I'm afraid to say if we don't intervene, it will get worse over time. This is a very, very important thing that we need to be incredibly aware of. One of the ways we can do this is actually through regulating nutrition and diet, control portions, and implementing this in our school system so they can be more aware of this. In my own opinion, I believe it's important that we put programs in place in school to teach them about healthy living, as well as giving parents the opportunity to come and learn about healthy resources available at their own disposal as healthy children begin in healthy homes. Now, these are my references, and I really hope that you enjoyed my presentation.